Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jillian Bartlett. I'm a Bahamian from the Bahamas. I'm a patriotic, organic, COI, patriotic Bahamian who support the COI, and I'm also an executive member and the vice chair lady of the organization for Grand Bahama. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is not my first rodeo. I've been doing this for a little bit, okay? I love my country. I'm sure many of you who will be listening and coming on to listen, wherever you live, whichever part of the country or United States or Europe or whatever Caribbean island you live in, I sure you love your country. And when you love your country and you're dissatisfied with corrupt politicians who have been telling us globally, not just in the Bahamas, but us globally, all over, the government have the answer for this, the government have the answer for that, the government this, the government that. And then we see so much poverty under the governments all over, not just the Bahamas. It's just that the Bahamas is very small, so we got to protect us. All over, governments are failing. And I don't know if they understand that. You know, I see them signing this deal. I see them doing this. They're doing that. But their country, poverty population, is still very high. And they could never find enough jobs for everybody. So I'm just wondering if the whole governmental scheme has come really to a end, but the last people to know it is the actual governments in any country, including ours. Like, you know, they've been doing things from the 60s. Some been doing things from 200 and something years old. Some been doing it for 75 years. Some been doing it for 120 years. And it appears to me, maybe not to you, that it's not working. It's not working. Like, they always have to try to figure things out that is so basic. What's so difficult about taking care of your poor people, your elderly people, the crime, your migration issue? Why is it so difficult for a decent hospital to actually cure you? You ever ask yourself this? Like, are things going in backwards? Because they've gotten so grandiose and so big, and you think their ideas as politicians in the 21st century has really just come to a stop? It's not just the Bahamas, no, it's not just Jamaica, it's not just the US. Like, they need a whole flow of new, I won't even say new politicians, I'd say common sense people who could actually think, who could actually fix a road, who could actually get into power or be in the power for over 35 years and complete one hospital, not having some private entities come in and sign 660 million to expand the container port. But hello everybody, I'm going back to the Bahamas now. You haven't even built one hospital in Grand Bahama yet. We had to fight for the school to open. Who builds a school after how much years? Which is 10 years. Who builds a Bahama hotel 15 years and then you'll say, put it in the court and what? Seal it? Where we living? Like, what century we living in? Like, who doesn't put lights in a constituency that is in desperate need? Who doesn't do that? And you sit there and sign a deal for 660 million in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and you didn't even put a first class airport, and Port Lucaya still ain't open. And I could go on down and down. So wait. Oh, I see the play. Oh, I get it. See, you have to get up and you have to make these pronouncements 2 days before Christmas, whilst you give the Bahamian trinkets and little giveaways, right? Because you're only entitled to 1 acre of your land. No, 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 no. Forget that, Bahamians. They have to sign a deal with, I don't know who, but I see Davis there. I see Fred Smith there. And the others grinning up like a chestnut cat, like you smile this big. Let me just smile how they smiling. Yeah. Signing an agreement 2 days ago in Freeport, Grand Bahama for 660, who? Did you say million? Oh, wait. They have to do that like 6 months into the election. Yeah, Bahamian. Because we live in the 60s. And they tried it over on you. But yet, Grand Bahama, your quality road from West End to 8 Mile Rock to Freeport, you all call that quality? No, wait, West End people. They just signed a deal with the Grand Bahama Port for 660 million. But guess what? Nothing's gonna happen yet. No, it couldn't happen 4 years ago. They had to, because they think you're shallow-minded, it had to happen 2 days ago. Into 6, and I had to smile because I don't want to be sad today. 6 months going into the general election, and that's the Christmas gift you're going to get. The bottom line is you got to wait again. So you got to vote them in, right? They're already in authority. They've been in authority for over 35 years plus as the governments of the Bahamas, this particular one. But you got to wait. Just wait for another 6 months and then vote them in. Right? This is negotiating skills now. And this deal to expand the container port. And that's what you're going to get, Bahamians. Yay! Wow, you're so proud. Wait, no, you work there. And that's fine to work anywhere. Your children can work there. They get abused. They don't get respected. But the government, Dongho with Fred Smith and Davis, signing a contract for 660 million to expand the container port in Freeport. You're doing so well. Forget, they don't need to do the important things for you. No, you could be dying of the old food they're bringing in, which you need to start growing your own. You don't worry about going to the Ram Memorial Hospital. Start medicating yourself. No, you because you know that's the death hospital, and they're ready to promise you all how much time, how much Davil, how much press conference between Davil and Minnis. Yeah, because he was the minister for health. How many times they can tell you they can build one hospital? The hospital was named after the Rands. The Rands were investors who came here maybe in the 50s. The hospital is still there. But they can tell you all, oh, we can sign. But listen, it's just coming to me. Do you all remember when Hubert Minnis, I got that right? Remember Hubert Minnis did this to us in Grand Bahama? He came all the way from Nassau, bring all his cabinet members to sign a shipping, it was a import-export business. Was it a cruise business that was supposed to happen? But maybe y'all get it. Y'all probably got it. Y'all probably got that little touristy area, remember, called I can't even remember what it called here, because I've never been there, because West End isn't important enough to bring it to West End, because West End love exactly where they are. It was under Minnis. I remember he came to Christ the King. I was there because they called me and said, Jillian, come, you got to come to Christ the King because you got to see this for yourself, right? I said, oh, good. What am I seeing? And guess who was sitting in front of me? Fred Smith. Boy, I did one slap in the back of his head even back then. Minnis came to Grand Bahama, Christ the King, to talk with this grandiose opening of, wasn't a shipping yard. It had to do with a cruise port. I don't know, something. And Minnis, you had a snap election. Where is it? Grand Bahama Port. You sat there in that meeting. You all were there. It didn't happen. So now they decide to come together like the merrily men they are, present a prospective expansion plan, because everybody could. Maybe they're doing it, maybe it ain't just on paper this time, maybe they've already started it, right? But why y'all gotta wait 6 months into the election to mention this? Is it for the fact that you did not build a hospital between the FNM and PLP? Y'all had about 5-6 news announcement on it. Where is that? If you love the Bahamian people so much, why are they feeling disenfranchised? Because I'm sure somewhere in my law, and I haven't found it yet in the Bahamian law, that there comes a point where you stop selling off our land to the highest bidder because you don't have the cocooners to take it over from here. What I mean, PLP party, Penland did not envision we keep selling to the highest bidder, but no, I think it's Davis' time. It's time for him and his people now to sign the deals. No solutions, all the solutions are sitting there. Ain't been fixed. I ain't talking about no $660 million deal under the Grand Bahama Port. I'm talking about just fix the road. I'm talking about just make sure that school really is sensible and every office in that school is occupied and the landscaping was perfection. Right? That's what I talk about, little small things. The ambulance, an actual road that goes straight from Freeport straight to West End is immaculate and lit up like a Christmas tree. I even ain't talking about that. Just fix the wall out here. Fix the wall that was there from the 60s when I was a little girl and I was running up and down on the wall. You put everything in Freeport. Listen to this. On this beautiful oasis of an island here, you don't put no investment here. And you've been in politics and you've been governing this West End's constituency from Methuselah days. But yet, they wait for the dawn. And I gotta smile, because if I don't smile, I'm gonna cuss. And I don't want cuss. They wait till the dawn of the election to bring this bogus deal, right? Would you gotta expand the container port for? Please tell us, because we're trying to get it. Like, what that's something to do with the CARICOM promise, Mr. Davis, that you made under Trudeau? Yeah, you're gonna make us the service industry of the CARICOM? Is this still it? Is this what you're going to pursue? Because you didn't represent us in CARICOM, you represent some other country. Is this the reason why you put that bill out there? I wonder if Fred Smith has something to do with this bill now. Oh, he's grinning, ducking behind whomever was signing this deal for the Grand Bahama Port. This is not a laughing matter. They continually promise you, okay, when there are smaller things and bigger concerns in our country that they could have been addressing, not just addressing. For Christmas, you do not want the Christmas crap. What you wanted is an acre of land that put you, this generation, in a better economic position because the land was granted to you by the crown. The government is only there to manage it, not give it away to the highest bidder, which raises another question. I wonder whose generation property, crown land, generation property and crown land is the container port on, because it's smack in my hometown also and in Pendas Point. So I wonder who would all the families capitalizing from every deal that was done in that section, because that is the Bahamian crown land. Or y'all thought we forgot? Every chemical factory, rock company, the container port, that's all crown land. I don't even have to look it up because I know that's the family crown land down there. And now here we are. Every foreigner with the Bahamians sitting in the background, looking on as if they're the living dead, while contracts were signed for 260 million. And yet, we don't see the benefits in the environment. So yeah, I'm back to talk about land, right? I'm back to talk about the Coalition of Independence vision for land. Land is still a natural resources. You do know that, right? With land, it gives you more, it gives you a lot of leverage when you go to the bank and apply for a loan that's going to run you into the rest of your life to pay. Who wants to be paying a loan for 20 years? Are we this desperate to stick with the system that makes you feel indebted to them? Or do you want to start to take charge and own and be owners? No, you don't want to own a container port. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to own property of your own that was granted to you by the Crown, because we are in a British colony in the Bahamas. You don't want that. No. You want to go to the bank. Yeah, and have no collateral. Okay, all right, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah, you're young. I can understand. You don't get it. You're young. You don't know. You're 25 now. Another 20 years, you'll be 35. You'll be midlife by 40. And you still would be paying, while you pay on high school fees, VAT on everything, because the government of the Bahamas ain't got no vision for you. I don't have to shout and scream and carry on and act like a psychotic fool like I see most of the persons who come on. They don't stick to the issues. They make a lot of noise. They have you entertained. Didn't we have enough of Rodney Monka? And then I can say plenty of things, but I ain't gonna say it. And he came on, entertained y'all laughed. But guess what? He spoke his truth, which was, it make no sense to me because I never listened. And he became a senator. Bahamians. Okay. This is where we are now, right? I'm going to read to you, and I think I need to take my time and read this, because between the Immovable Property Acquisition and the Quieting Title Act in 1956, you all need to know what's going on in your country. So I Googled something. I should have grok it, but grok is she do sassy for me. She's sassier than me. I Googled the Quieting Act because I wanted to know, like which Prime Minister of the Bahamas was dumb enough to bring that forward. Yeah, y'all scared to tell them they dumb. Well, in hindsight, when you're looking at everything that they bought when you wasn't even a thought yet. In 1946, I wasn't born yet. I was born a couple of years later, but I wasn't born yet. This Quieting Title Act in 1956 was passed by Parliament, July 13, 1959. Why was it? Why is it? I'm asking this because I look at a lot of acts and parliamentary procedures. Why is it that they always pass these things during the summer month when Bahamians is hot? It's probably hotter than it is now. In 1960s, it was hot, even hot then. Bahamians are not paying attention. They're going on vacation. School, summer. It's a summertime, attention span. Ain't nobody looking at no bills and from 1960, and they just got this independence, like working towards it, because I know they fought for that in 73. So 1956, who was paying attention to these details? No, nobody was. But yet Parliament does this to us over and over. Remember, May of a year ago or two ago, where they passed this biometric. It was during this summer. Then they come with the smuggle bill during the summer. The natural resources embargo, I think it's sometime in May during the summer. They keep doing this to us. Like during the summer, everybody's hot. They're frustrated. In 1956, they probably wasn't as frustrated as we are in 2025 with this government and these bills they tried to smuggle in and snuff down our throats. Like this, we don't have time to read it. But that's just a thought. The Bahamas was a British crown colony and had not yet achieved its independence and its full internal self-governance. We still needed the full internal self-governance, and the COI is talking about that and proposing that in its Vision 2030 going forward. Because even back then, in 1956, you could see when it came to our crown land, it was really the British who introduced it. And it was the British who said at some point, we're going to allot the Bahamians some crown land in pockets of all the different islands. And as you know, listeners, we have over 700 islands. This act was initially a colony for the colony government to address the social and the economic ills. They needed to resolve a dispute, unclear and unregistered land. Let's listen, please. Let me just take a minute. In 1956, the British colony assisted the government because they wanted to make sure to initiate this program for the social and economic needs to resolve a dispute on uncleared and unregistered land. That was 1956. This is 2025. We still have the same problems. But whereas we have the same problems, it isn't the here government that is actually proposing to fix it. They love it the way it is, okay? They love it. The COI is clear on its vision for proper land record and access. The COI is promising that they will clear the bureaucracy, but this is deeper than bureaucracy. This is mismanagement with the present government at hand. Refuse to come into this century because they're stuck in the twilight zone of being a career politician. But the COI will introduce a common sense solution. It is obvious since 1959, they were thinking from 1959 to 2020, they were thinking about these boundaries. And there was a blur between the lines, right? But the COI saying they're coming with some common sense solution. Because obviously, if it takes the career politicians from and this covered with Davis, this even covered Penland, this covered Perry, Minnis, and whomever's coming up next, that you all had sufficient time to deal with this matter. But you all refuse to have proper registry because you all love confusion. Since the act in 1959, it was established for the Bahamians to gain internal self-governance in 1964. I was one. Self-governance is not local government. Self-governance is not urban renewal. It's not social service. It ain't none of that. We're supposed to be talking self-governance. This was established since 1959. They were talking about this. They wanted us to gain internal self-governance in 1964. I was one. Well, y'all could tell me how old y'all were at the time because y'all need to figure it out in your head that this government's, especially in the Bahamas, it ain't working. Well, I don't know what's going on, but it ain't working. It wasn't. All right, so we gained our independence in 1973, right? Okay, between 1956 to 1973. You think by then, we got independence. Hooray! They will have a proper land registry, right? Okay, maybe they have a office and you go in there and you apply and they can't tell you exactly how much land you got. They can't tell you exactly where the crown line is. They can't tell you what. You have a bureaucracy confusion just continuing, right? So forget that, Bahamians. You just ain't entitled to knowledge. You're not entitled to know how much land you have. But thank God the COI under Mr. Lincoln Bain has organized that for us. It is on Vision 2030 under the not documentary. Look in 2030 Vision and you'll see it on land. You have all the information there. Forget going to the office. Forget even getting an application for that office. Because guess what? We got you. All right? Each candidate in our beautiful new Coalition of Independence, or 35, 36, 37, 38 of them, plus, will give you the application. Don't bother to even go to the office, because you're not going to get what you're entitled to because of the I want to say BS. Yeah, I could say that. Because of the BS in the Land and Survey Department, which is governed by the Davis administration. Okay, so he got Land and Surveys. He's the minister for that. He has the Natural Resources. He's the minister for that. He's the Minister of Finance, and he's the Prime Minister. One minute. Yep, this is where we are in the Bahamas from before I was born to now. Okay, so you think that the Bahamian government, between the Quieting Title Act that was proposed July 13, 1957, to our independence in 1973, they had whole 17 years to get the registry together and have it computerized and have a better system of application online. Yeah, online. Why not? Just have to produce certain criteria like the proper passport and all that could be tracked under that entity. But no, not the government. 17 years between 1956 to independence, 1993. Okay, so forget the independence, right? It is 2025 from 1973. Oh, I need a mathematician here, please, somebody. Let's see, from 73 of our independence to this 2025. It ain't 2026 yet. Let's see what we got here. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to do my math and talk at the same time. Yep. Hey man, gotta have a little common sense here, because this little ball ain't working for us right now. Okay, 7, 12, okay. That's 5, okay. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna do a wild guess. I hope I have this right. I'm not good at accounts, but I could add and subtract a little bit, okay? From the time you were independent to 2025, we'll say it's about 52 years. Yeah. We are how old? 53 years old. I got a smile. I so serious. If I don't smile, you only want to see my ugly face. 52 years ago, you don't think we could have had a proper registry? You don't think we could have had a list of where all the properties are? That's Crown land that was given to us, the Bahamian, patriotic, organic Bahamian, who are the inheritors of this land. No. 52 whole years. We are 53 years old and we're still grappling with this government to get it right. Well, time for them to back on the side. That's all I have to say. So still, the introduction was under the British authorities and not the modern Bahamian political party, the FNM and PLP. That's the bottom line there with regards to who really is concerned about you having your land and who show loyalty to you as a Bahamian. I just want to make sure I didn't have something else written there. I mean, 52 years, they can't have a land registry. Listen here. I'm telling everybody in the sound of my voice, please share this. Okay, if you have career politicians who signing these big old contract for 660 million, not small numbers anyway, that's tiny numbers, but how they feel that's going to impress you and they even fix the issues. I just got to scratch my head for a minute, man. I trying to make this make some sense, and even though the more I look at Vision 2030, I could smile because it's a true vision. But when I look at the history and how these career politicians has handled the people, I still wondering, and I'm going to put it out there because you see, the land in which I'm wondering about, where the container port is, / the oil refinery, the rock company that just left, but somebody's still there. All of that is in 8 Mile Rock. All of it is property that belonged to Bahamians. I wonder if anybody thought about how much longer will the government continue to give land. Perhaps there are many different lands in different patches on different islands, and private land has been taken away by something called the immovable Property Act, under the Quieting Act, under this act, that act, and leaving the Bahamians disenfranchised like there is no balance in foreign investments / Bahamian ownership and the Bahamian entitlement to their land. So it's okay for a prime minister of either side to sometimes just slam families, propose something, slap something in the House of Assembly called the Removable Property Act or the Quieting Act, and then we're just supposed to sit by after 53 years, because next year we'll be 54 years, really, and keep going through the same crap over and over whilst we get disenfranchised in our country. So, what will the COI, after 53 years, want for you? Well, they've told you, Bahamians, you better remember this. Remember this because it's written now. The vision is written. They told you after 53 years, they want you to be honest, okay? They want you to be honest, not in knocking every investor down now. That's not what we're talking about. Let's just get this clear. This is about land. Because if acquisitions were put in place and introduced since 1956, then we got independence, then 53 years later, it's all about what the investors want. I think the container port, as far as I'm concerned, is a buffer because Davis know he in trouble. But no, he don't care because he brings a bill to make sure that with that bill signed, at the port for 660 million, and bringing in the free movement of people through the smuggling bills / illegals could do anything they want because they can work for anything. Not a slave trade labor, but now it's enforced on our own government, by our own government. It's all coming in there. But the COI wants you to really focus this time. Please focus. Because ownership after 53 years is your birthright. We didn't send our children off to college, travel all over the world, so we could be told how to work, what to do, who can be our boss forever, Many of us are entrepreneurial spirit. That's the thinking we have. And many will still work. But at least let it work for wages that's over $220 or $60, which they had to fight for that minimal wage. So what was it before that? $150 a week? Are y'all think that we're not entitled to more? Our people who are working, laborers who are working, are not entitled to much more than that? Wow, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm really trying to understand the thinking of the merely men in the House of Assembly, how they feel between the introduction of the quieting land acquisition and between the immovable property acquisition. What were they thinking? Like, okay, you're incapable of managing our country? Like, felt, give up? What is it? I'm trying to think, what is it? Because I can't get it in my head. So that's what the COI want for you, ownership. And this is just on one module, as in an acre of land. We're not talking about 10 plots. We're not talking about 50 acres. Just an acre, because that's all you need. Acre's huge. And it's a multi-purpose. But let's talk about other solutions by the COI. With the lack of proper land registry, the COI wants to make sure that that happens. So you can go on a site. Yeah. Let's take my glasses off of that. You can go an actual site because you qualify as a Bahamian. Of course, you have to put in all your prerequisite, you got to put in your passport, your family tree, things like that. So we could check it out. But they would want to have a proper land registry, Bahamians. You are entitled to 1 acre of land here and more. You are entitled to that. That's the vision of the Coalition of Independence. They would eradicate the bureaucracy. Now, if you read, you will see details on the strategy. They want to eradicate the bureaucracy for the Bahamian citizens because between the VAT and bad management between the FNM and PLP, they could use a break. That's a whole couple of generations. That's a whole couple of decades. Like, my daughter won't understand all of this. Maybe she would, but she's smart. Okay, so, the young people who are not tuned into what's happening would not get it. But just imagine, you finished school, you came back from college, right? Your parents had spent for your education for the last 5 years, and some maybe 12, depends if you want to be a doctor or whatever, right? And then you want to come back to lend your expertise back to your country. Oh, you left and decide to build up America. That's fine. We love America. But you wanted to come back, and you came back. So now you have no leverage at all. Young Bahamians who've left for the last 10 years. You come back, and you can't even get a government job because you overqualify. You come back, and then you have to get a loan on top of the loan your family's still paying for you because of your college degree. And you can't get one parcel of Crown land. Well, the COI will fix that. You will be entitled to that. There will be no bureaucracy. The Quieting Act title acquisition isn't for us in the 26th century. That's not for us. I'm sorry. All of that needs to be addressed, and the COI will. A lack of modern land management for proper mapping. Now, I know for certain, because I work with a real estate agent, and we just, I didn't get qualified to be a real estate agent, but I learned a lot. And, we had to go and check out certain sites, record it, and then put it in the computer and put all the information in so they can have an aerial perspective. So you don't have to be getting in your car, driving the High Rock to show a property and your client can't catch you up. You just show them the link, kaboom, they have the site. So that's a real estate agent I used to work with, so I know about these things. So we don't even have that. In the modern day time, we don't have a land management, proper mapping, aerial, online link for Crown land. Why? Why we need all of this tyranny? Why we gotta go down the mulberry bush, get bite by a crab, come back up, and then try to figure out where the land is? Why is it so difficult for the government to even do that? Incompleted documents and the ecological sensitive area. That's another problem that we have within our system. Why so many Bahamians lost their land to governments? Yes, prime land. I'm not talking about no dinky duck back of the bush land. I'm talking about on the beach. Because they had incomplete documents. They always had the document. But does that give the right to the government to take that land from that Bahamian? Yes, we are thinking about protecting the ecological sensitive system, like the areas with the nursery and anything to do with water table. That's the COI will definitely protect those areas, okay? You know, this is about sustainable empowerment to every citizen. Sustainable empowerment is land to every citizen of the Bahamas who is in dire need to have this leverage. We're not saying we're giving each person $1 million. But this is a very wonderful idea under the COI and the sustainable use, and to empower every citizen with a stake in our national wealth, which is land. But no. The Port Authority can go and sign the expansion for $660 million to expand the container port. It could possibly be, I'm not going to say no allegedly, frig that, possibly be on your Crown land. Hey, listen here, it could be my Crown land. Boy, I have some stories, but I'm not going to get into that right now. So why this is so urgent? Why is this so urgent? It's urgent because Bahamians are limited on when it comes to ownership and unregulated foreign speculation, environment degradation from late 1990s roughly. There is a 3.45 million acres of land. Need I say that again? From the 90s, this is on our platform. There's roughly 3.45 million acres of land. So you're trying to say government of the Bahamas. First, you're derelict in making proper registration, listing, so the Bahamians won't be confused. You don't tell the Bahamians their rights, but every time you turn around, you're selling the property to a foreigner. So how do you think that makes the Bahamian feel? There is an imbalance. There is a big imbalance. You went to the CARICOM. You was the CARICOM president for 6 months. And all we heard was our country and what they call it, ACSME or whatever, and the CARICOM, that we're going to be the serving industry. Did you get us mixed up with another country? Because we do have enough educated Bahamians to fix our problem in the Bahamas. We are no longer want to be in the trade of service industry. Y'all are falling behind the 10 ball. And we want to fix it under Vision 2030. So anyway, Bahamians, you have 3.45 million acres since 1990. Just remember that. More solutions. What are the other solutions under the COI, the Coalition of Independence, on our website that you can peruse, because this land thing is deep. You sit back and listen to persons speak ignorantly on Facebook with regards to the Bahamas. And I believe the global entity look at us as we're impaired and we don't have no common sense to run our own country. Because we got a lot of dummies on Facebook talking crap. And time for that to stop. More solutions. A proper infrastructure, especially to protect the ecosystem. This is a very robust system because we have nursery infrastructure, especially here in West End. We have it in abundance. Do you all realize when you're coming into West End, right? You can't really see it because it's been so neglected. But again, when it comes to natural ecosystems, you don't really have to do nothing much because it's all natural. As you're riding into West End and you look on your right, all of that is a nursery, you know. To a certain point coming into West End, and then you go up around the curve, all of that is a nursery. All of that is an ecosystem dynasty. Just in case if you all didn't know. And they're in pockets everywhere in the Bahamas, but especially here in West End. More solutions by the Coalition of Independence, Vision 20. Proper infrastructure, especially to protect the ecosystem, the robust laws and regulation for the future generation. That's what the COI is promising, because we will always need food. If the Americas was to have a World War III, God, I hope not. But if, do you know we have enough seafood to sustain our own country? Yeah. We don't grow nothing no more. Forget that. We've lost that whole market. We don't grow anything in the Bahamas. Okay? But we have enough fish, seafood to sustain our own country. And probably America. If America should go to war. I want you to look on Vision 2030 under our land. At our 1.1 plan, for rationale and goals. It's very important, and this is why I'm taking my time. Rationale and goals. This is very important. Okay, the land owned by the government. And this is just a little information that's written there. It's actually the Crown. By the law held in trust for the Bahamian people. In principle, every Bahamian should benefit from this lands. Yet, in practice, most Crown land has been underutilized or granted without transparent information to the majority of the citizens of the land. We get news announcement, we get signing paper somewhere, I don't know where, with whomever, and then we find out, oh, the Oban land was sold to retain oil. Okay, we saw what happened to that. Land for entertainment by whatever that entertainment place up there, but they forget to bring it to West End, because West End don't need that, okay? They could stay in the twilight zone of practices forever. They don't need that. We keep seeing all these projects popping up everywhere. Disney World. Please tell me why they sold property to Disney. Please. Is Disney lacking revenue? I need to make sense because we are the biggest supporter of Disney. If Disney in California, the Bahamians will go to California to Disney and forget Miami and Florida and Orlando. If it's in New York, I believe they'll go there. So tell me what makes sense. What sense you selling a whole entire rock to Disney? They don't need it. We need it. I just need things to make sense after 53 years when it comes to our land. Not nobody else's land. I ain't talking about America's land. I'm not talking about Turks and Caicos land. I ain't talking about Jamaica land. I'm talking about our land. It has to make sense. Solution by the COI. 1 acre for each adult. Please tell me, I want y'all to answer me. Is 1 acre for each adult something you'll be interested in? Just 1 acre. Yeah? Mr. Smith, you need to get plenty of people. You need to go get 10 other people, and that'll be 10 acres between all of you. That's what the COI solution is for the Bahamians, right? Just 1 acre. We will ensure the equitable distribution of the natural asset. Equal distribution, because the Bahamians are not feeling this. The Katina Ports want to expand, spending $660 million more on property that could be your property. And all the COI is saying, we want to make sure the Bahamian, there's some equality. And there's nothing wrong with that with 1 acre. You could ask for more. It's okay. You may have a big project you want to do, and you're entitled to it. And you have a generation of children that is happy to be involved with your investment. Because why not? Okay? Remember, it is our natural resources. Our natural resources, right? Jesus. I think about a lot of things. It's our natural resources that we want to distribute back to the Bahamian people so you can be empowered. Before I move on, I want to say something right here. God, I'm so dehydrated. I want you all to share this. This is important. Let me tell you how destitute we are as a country. And I know we have a lot of out-island issues with regards to different islands, and I'll call them off. Abaco, Eleuthera, because Abaco had a devastating hurricane. Eleuthera is still underpopulated. Exoma. Berry Islands is, I don't know what's going on there. Exoma, Maguana, all of these are islands in the Bahamas, right? And sometimes they need teachers, they need nurses, they need everything, honestly. And I recall a story a young lady was telling me some time back, how frustrated she was. She's a qualified Bahamian teacher now, you know? Yeah, she was a teacher, yeah, not a nurse. But I've heard from nurses too. And she was waiting for months in. She's already packed up all her stuff. She's already got an okay from the government that she would be relocated to another island, right? I'm sure there's many stories than this. She's a teacher. And she was waiting for a letter. A letter? You mean an email, eh? Even if you get an email, that's even old-fashioned. But she waiting for a letter from the government, you know, because you can get your email on your phone and you can show anybody the email so she can get a rental. She's already packed up everything, I guess, left an apartment that was in Nassau and was ready to be relocated as a teacher, one of the out islands, but she waiting on the government for a letter. Teachers are considered civil servants, so are nurses, police, and gamut of them. So you're trying to say, in 2025, we're going on 2026, this happened a couple of years ago, that the young Bahamians got to go through all of that. And sometimes they have to hustle because they want to relocate for jobs so they can help in these governmental departments. And the government have them waiting on a letter. Y'all don't want to change that? Listen, if you are qualified Bahamian, you are under the COI government, you will be entitled to get a whole property to establish your life. Because you're young and you're going to be teaching for over, 10 years at least. So you don't think you should have a proper, given that at least. While you're working as a nurse or a teacher or a police, you have a government job, you can take that if you want, go to the bank, because you have mortgage, and you have collateral, and use your property so you can actually build a home while you're renting. You don't think that makes more sense, government, for your people if you really cared about them? But you do not. You care about signing deals with Grand Bahama Port to expand the container port. And you do it right in time for the next election, as if we're stupid. But for years, our Bahamians have been suffering like this. And you can see why the Bahamians are feeling a funny way. So we have 43,560 square feet, sufficient for an average single family home, plus a small business, if they're thinking, right? Structure for workshop solutions. This is what is on the 2030 mandate for a new government under the COI. This is enough space in the yard even to grow your personal needs, because sometimes on the islands, depending on what island you go to, you can't even get fresh fruits and vegetables. Yeah, think about that. This is enough space for yard to do a garden, because just because you're young don't mean, you know, fast food and half of those places, and plus fast food isn't good for you. You could have a farm and a mix, or use like a multitask. I mean, come on. We're living in 2025. We have to chew gum, walk, put our hand on our head, and stand on one foot all the same time. Because that's how far behind we are as Bahamians in our own society. Because we have old career politicians who cannot think and cannot multitask and wants to keep everybody clenched to them through either manipulation or harassment, or you know, they can do something to me if I voted something different. But y'all can tolerate this. You see what the COI is proposing? Remember now, we no longer live in the 60s. I sort of say that again and again. We live in 21st century where this year, you should be able to go on that. Find the link, you know, government website, find the link. It's the government website is a damn old backwards website, and it make no sense. You got to go through so much bureaucracy to just find a link. You find the link for your...
Most people think
You find the link for your crown land that you want to get. Yeah, 1 acre. You fill out the application right online, and boom. You qualify, you come in, you verify. You qualify, you come in, you verify. You qualify, you verify, and you come in. Waiting for what letter? Sometimes I believe we stuck in the stone ages of, I don't know what. I believe we stuck in a stone age. But no, we stuck in the stone age with politicians who are stone age, and that's where we are. So we don't live in the 60s no more. The goal is to provide a tangible asset success with the basics. The basic is land. All right? Land is important. Why is it important? Bahamians will have home security. You feel secure. You're working a job for over 10 years, teaching, policing, nursing, even longer for some. And you need something. You don't need to be going to another out island and renting. When they ain't got no hospital, no proper airport. So something should happen to you, like a breakout fight in the school should happen to you. You need that home security. The COI will give you that home security. Also, encourage entrepreneurship. You cannot. We don't live in the 60s no more. War could break out anytime soon. And believe me, all those container ports, you know, all this expansion with the container port, guess what will happen? That have to sit. And you have to survive. And you have to prepare. And this is what the COI is about. Waking you up, educating you, exposing the foolishness that makes no sense. They want you to have land security. They want you to be entrepreneurs. You don't have to work for anyone. You went off. Some of you don't want to work for others. There's nothing wrong with working with other people and for other people. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. But there are many of us who wants to do their own thing. And it's been like that for a while. So you get, through the COI, you get home security. You get encourage entrepreneurship. You have support your agriculture for your own needs. You can go ahead and grow your own onions, potatoes, whatever you want to grow, tomatoes, sweet pepper, whatever. Don't have to wait for no one. You can call it a generational wealth passed down to enrich your generation. We just need a modernized system, but we're not going to get it under this archivish entitled government that, oh, I've been in government for 53 years and I could do better than you. Oh, no, we're going to House Assembly. I could do better than you, but my suit look better than your suit. In the meanwhile, the Bahamians are feeling disenfranchised when it comes to land ownership. Land means leverage in the bank, okay? And you don't have to be subject to a government that you got to wait for a letter so you can move to Nowd Island, be a teacher for 10 years. You sit there teaching for 10 years, what, on rent? That's it? That's, you're police. You got to go to certain islands and live for 5 years on rent? No, you don't want your 1 acre that the COI is proposing and all the benefits within Vision 2030. Even though I can get very angry at this government for trying to jack us up with regards to signing contracts that has nothing to do with building and lifting up the Bahamian people. You don't want your children to come back to the country. And when they do come back, which they are qualified, you don't want them to have their generational wealth for them and their family. So everybody else can have the property, but not you. That's what you're saying? You don't want that. So if you want generational wealth, if you want entrepreneurial, if you want ownership, there's nothing wrong with it. And you don't have to be a slave master to any of the governments. You could be busy, productive citizens of the country, not in destitute neighborhoods that look like shanty towns. And I'm going to say it over and over because that's where a lot of the crime activities are, and it doesn't look good. But they could jet set everywhere, sign big contracts 6 months into the election and fool you again that, you know something, we need to expand the container port because it's in the best interest of whom? World War III breakout? That bill that they have there, but smuggling, that happened? Yeah, it can be a war. It can be war right in the Bahamas because we have derelict career politicians who feel we don't read the fine print. And we're sick and tired of the way they run our country, like a SWAT shop of flea bags. That's how I see it. All right, I'm done. I want you to go to the Coalition of Independence, www.com website. I'm going to continue on the land. Yeah, Christmas coming. Christmas come every year. Get over it. Nobody wants turkey. What we want for Christmas is Vision 22 to be the answer for the problems we're having in the Bahamas. That's what we want for Christmas. All right, everybody, I'm done. You take care.